Hi. In this short video, we will outline the core arguments from our article Between the National and the Personal, the Interactional Production of Agency in Diplomacy. In this work, we address a fundamental question in the study of diplomacy. When we observe a diplomat, are we seeing a mere representative of the state, or are we seeing an individual? Our work begins with a central paradox in international relations theory regarding the role of the diplomat. On the one hand, traditional theory often views diplomat as mere mouthpieces or empty vessels, simply articulating the state's predetermined interests. On the other hand, the practical reality is that states are silent entities. They are abstract concepts that depend entirely on individual human beings to speak and act for them. In other words, states don't interact, people do. And it's this tension between the national and the personal that our research set out to explore. This leads us to our central research question. How do diplomats navigate this inherent tension? How do they manage the complex interplay between their official capacity as a state representative and their own personal agency as an individual? While recent scholarship acknowledged that individual diplomats matter, the field has lacked a systemic way to identify when and how personal agency actually manifests in the daily practice of diplomacy. To address this gap, we turn to microsociology, employing Goffman's concept of footing. This concept allows us to shift the analysis from just what is being said to the more nuanced question of on whose behalf it is being said. By analyzing shifts in footing, we can identify a spectrum of agency expressed through three distinct production roles. We propose a spectrum of footing that diplomats navigate in their interactions. The first is the diplomat as animator. In this role, the diplomat delivers a pre-scripted message with low personal accountability. Here, personal agency is minimized. The second is the author, where the diplomat exercises professional creativity, selecting specific phrasing and framing to interpret the state's message. This is a position of moderate agency. And finally, the principal, where the diplomat speaks as an individual. This is the moment of fresh talk, where the speaker takes responsibility for the words, expressing personal beliefs or emotions. This is where personal agency is at its peak. We employ the hard case methodology, analyzing 27 credential ceremonies in Israel. These diplomatic rituals are, by their very nature, highly scripted, precisely the kind of setting where conventional wisdom would predict that personal agency is almost entirely absent. Yet, despite the rigid formality of the setting, we observe diplomats strategically and fluidly shifting their footing. A diplomat might act as an animator while reading an official letter, then shift to the role of author to selectively frame the state's message, and crucially, even step into the role of principal to share a personal anecdote and create an interpersonal bond. Furthermore, we were able to trace the strategic logic beyond this shift, analyzing how diplomats use this different footing to manage their positioning in the interaction. The main conclusion of our research, therefore, is that diplomatic agency should not be viewed as a static trait. Instead, it is a dynamic interactional accomplishment. The art of diplomacy lies in the skillful navigation of this spectrum, knowing precisely when to shield oneself as an animator and when to step forward as a principal. For a complete discussion and detailed analysis, we invite you to read the full article in the Review of International Studies. Thank you.